In this video, I want to talk about market manipulation and in particular wash trading and how it's kind of currently deceiving people, especially newcomers in the NFT space, and they're just kind of gaming the system. Now, wash trading is when someone trades a security, or it could be an NFT or cryptocurrency, back and forth to themselves to then also kind of create fake volume, but it can also create the perception of a higher floor price. And this can also be called painting the tape. Now, painting the tape is when you kind of do it back and forth between a group of people. So what I want to touch on really quickly is the wash trading that's currently happening and how to kind of look out for it so you can stay safe. Now, look, the reason that I want to make this video is just to show you what I have found, educate you so you can actually kind of pick these things out and just overall make this space a safer space so people aren't sort of tricked into losing their money. Now, I will say that I'm not calling out these particular projects. I'm not saying that these projects are doing it. There can be bad actors that are just large bag holders trying to pump their bags. So it's not the particular projects or the founders themselves. It can be bad actors involved behind it. So what I kind of want to touch on is when you jump on something like OpenSea, what you usually see is you'll see some notable drops, but then you've got top collections over the past 24 hours. Now down here, you can see YOLO Bunny. Now with YOLO Bunny, they've had sort of 2K worth of volume and the floor price is sitting at half an ETH. Now this looks this looks very healthy, very good. And if you kind of see this on the trending section, you may be tempted to kind of ape in, YOLO in, buy in. But what you can do is if you hit on the activity tab, what you'll then notice is you're going through some of these sales are all right, and you're going, okay, 2.3 ETH sale, okay, that's a little bit high. You then see something like this, 50 ETH, a 50 ETH sale, which is crazy. You see a 62 ETH sale. And then what happens is if you actually go into something like the 62 ETH sale, you can actually look and see who actually owns it. And when you click on it and have a look and see what they own, they just own two YOLO bunnies. When you kind of head back, you can then go and have a look at some of these other very large purchases. Now, a really good way to kind of do this is you can go items, then you can go search by, so price to low, you can go search by highest last sale, and then you can also go through as well. So you can see here 111 ETH for a YOLO bunny. Go in and see who owns it, and then what you'll notice is they just hold a YOLO bunny. Now what I want to do here is show you how you can actually jump in and have a look at the actual individual addresses and kind of see how they were funded and what's actually happening within the ecosystem itself, like on the blockchain. So when you actually kind of see this person, you can click on their wallet address. So they're just holding this one YOLO bunny, head over to Etherscan, paste in their address. And what you can see here is what they've actually done is they've had a whole bunch of ETH kind of come into the account, 16 transactions, and they've bought a YOLO bunny. That's what they've done. And you can see here that it's essentially 3 days old. So this is a brand new account and they've just had ETH flood into the account from a whole bunch of different addresses to kind of do that. Now, when you actually head back in and have a look at some of the other purchases that have been made, so then we head back over to the activity section, and this is how fast you can kind of do it. So it isn't too hard. You then go, okay, the 50 ETH sale, click on it, see who owns it. Then what you can then do is go copy their address back over to Etherscan and then paste it in. And then what you can see here is they've currently got 8 ETH in their wallet. But what has happened here, they've been here for 2 days and all they've done is sort of just some cash in, bought the YOLO bunny. So what happens is these bad actors within the space, they are essentially transferring and buying and selling the sort of NFTs back and forth to each other. What this does is it starts to create a whole bunch of volume that's actually happening on the project. And like I said here, you can see top collections over the last 24 hours. YOLO bunny is number 4 because they've done so much volume in the space. What can then happen is they can do sort of 3 or 4 trades at 50 ETH a piece, and they could be competing on a Bored Ape level. If an ape's selling 1 a day, they could be doing more volume than Yuga. So what this means is it means that new people that are coming into the space may see this and go, oh, there are whales buying into this. There are people spending 100 ETH and it's on the blockchain, it's real. But when you actually dive in deep, you can actually see what's happening. Now, one thing that you can actually kind of do yourself is if you actually go through these accounts, you can actually see not necessarily who owns it, but you can see who has sent them money. And it does take a little bit of diving and a little bit of digging, but what you're able to do is actually kind of go through and see where the money has come from, because what you will find is you'll see essentially some accounts buying and selling. So the account that sort of sells it for 80 ETH will then sell the proceeds of that 80 ETH somewhere else to then buy another, and they just keep going around and around. So an example here, YOLO Bunny bought with 66 ETH. We can see who owns this. And then when you have a look at what they own 3 YOLO bunnies. That's all they've got. So you've got the address here, paste it in. And then what you can see is the transactions. So they have just sent some ETH from FTX, and they've essentially kind of in, out, and they've kind of bought the YOLO bunnies. And where has this cash come from? This cash has come from another account as well. So all of the accounts that are holding these big expensive YOLO bunnies have just been sort of sent from FTX, and they're kind of going back and forth between each other. Now there will be that 2.5% fee that they're kind of taking, but what they hope is that 2.5% that they're losing to OpenSea, they're essentially doesn't worry, because they're hoping to get more people to buy into the ecosystem. Now, the reason I say this can't be based on a particular project is that if they can be bad actors that have a large bag and they're willing to just try to pump that bag within the space. So can't necessarily be blamed on the project or the founders themselves. You do need to do your own digging to come up with your own interpretation of who is actually kind of trying to manipulate the floor. Now look, to expand on this, there is a project called Women Unite. Now what you'll notice here is there are multiple variations. So there's 227 items, 863 owners. Now when you go to highest last sale, what you can see here, 22 ETH, 18 ETH, 16, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. So there are lots of sales happening. Now, if you actually check over on their Twitter account, what they've got is they've got sort of almost 9,000 followers. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't a quality project. I'm not saying that the founders aren't great, but you have to have a look at the idea behind it, because the fact is, at a 20 ETH floor, this is sitting up and rivaling Moonbirds with Kevin Rose. This is rivaling Gojira and what Shan's doing there. This is rivaling some of these big established brands that are in the space, and they've got sort of 9,000 followers. Now, the reason that they kind of do some of these trades is because you then can see this post 13 hours ago, original collection token 182 sold for 10 ETH. So the ability to actually kind of get up into the trending section, but then also post on social media what is actually happening within the space, so you can kind of see what is actually happening on the project to show it's alive, to try to keep things going. Now look, that was the Genesis collection. Now they would be doing this because they have a larger collection, a 10K collection. And what you'll notice is there's only sort of 6,800 items minted. So this would be to kind of sell that out a little bit to kind of get some traction on a larger piece itself, which could be involved in a larger ecosystem. And then when you go onto the highest last sale, you can still see here for a project that hasn't minted out, there are some sales that are happening around that sort of 2, 3, and then 4 ETH. Now look, there is a third project that's recently come out, still hasn't revealed yet, that I think has been doing some wash trading. I've heard words of it. I've actually done a bit of a dive in it. I've just recorded it, but I'm actually not going to put it in the video because I don't want to FUD the project prematurely, just in case it isn't true and it's actually some bad actors. But this is kind of the struggle when it comes down to unveiling this within the NFT space. The fact is, people are a little bit worried to call someone out, because if they are wrong, it's going to cause FUD, and then it will kind of sort of wreck the bags of those people that do have good intentions, that do like the project. And all it can take is one tweet, one video, one thing that can go wrong and ruin a project. So it is very hard for this type of information to come out, and that's why I kind of hope you enjoy this content for the educational aspect. I hope that you kind of get some information out of it so you can trade safer, so you can be safer, and you can educate other people on what they should do when they are looking at a project on secondary, just to make sure that they aren't having the wool pulled over their eyes. So that is something that it kind of weighs on my mind. There are projects that I would like to kind of call out, but I don't think I can, because it's not a good thing within the space to actually do this, because you can then have a whole entire community whose bags are being flooded to then come and attack you. So it is a shame that I'm not able to kind of put that out there, because I think it does have some manipulation, but I don't want to do it prematurely. So anyway, hopefully you found value in this video. If you did, please consider hitting up that subscribe button. And while you're down there, also hit up the like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.